virtual Family Resource Center tour of the Upstate Family Resource Center in South Carolina. So happy that you are all with us this afternoon and excited to have the Upstate FRC team here with us today. I am Julie Matusik, and I am the Membership and Administration Manager with the National Family Support Network. And I will be moderating today, as well as just providing some introductory slides before we hear from Kelly and her team. And so with that, I have a couple of polls to get a sense of who is in this room with us today. And so the first question is, how familiar are you with family resource centers? So there's a spectrum here ranging from not familiar to very familiar. So take a moment to respond to that poll. Give you just a couple more seconds if you haven't had a chance to respond yet. Okay. All right, let's look at these results. Well, it looks like the majority of you are familiar with FRCs and a couple not so much. So by the end of the end of our conversation today, you can all answer yes, very familiar. And we have one other poll, and this one is whether or not you have visited a family resource center in person before. All right, 2 more seconds to respond. Okay. All right, well, again, looks like the majority of you have visited a family resource center and some haven't just yet. So excited to share this tour with you today. And sorry, tech fun. Okay. So want to dive right in here and share some information with you about family resource centers in general before we hear from the Upstate FRC. So thousands of family resource centers have emerged organically across the country, yet their existence is still largely under the radar as America's best kept secret. And a family resource center is a community or school-based welcoming hub of support, services, and opportunities that are designed to support families to be strong and to be successful. And the top image on the left here that you see, this is from a community-based family resource center in Vermont, and the one on the right is a school-based family resource center in Kentucky. And family resource centers work with families in an approach that is not only two-generational, but multi-generational as well, as it's also strengths-based and family-centered. So I want to focus in on each of these concepts because they're all important. So multi-generational. So I'm sure many of you have heard of two-generational or two-gen work. Well, family support is the original, not just two-gen, but multi-gen work, as programs are working with children and parents and grandparents as well. And family resource centers are strengths-based because we see families as having strengths that we want to support them to build upon. And they are family-centered. So because everything that we do has families at the center. And family resource centers are designed for all families, not only low-income or highly challenged ones. So that way the support they're providing is non-stigmatized, and it makes it more accessible, more readily accessible to everyone. And programming is provided at no cost or low cost for the participants. And before I move to the next slide, I have a question for you all. We'll ask via the poll, and this is about the strengthening families protective factors. Curious how many of you are familiar with the strengthening families protective factors? All right, 2 more seconds. All right, looks like many of you are familiar with the protective factors. And for those of you that are not, good news, I'll tell you about them right now. So the Strengthening Families Protective Factor Framework, they come from the Center for the Study of Social Policy, and research has shown that these 5 protective factors increase family stability, enhance child development, and reduce child abuse and neglect. So as we are working with families, we want to support them to build these protective factors because we know that they make a positive difference in the lives of families. And so a little bit more about family resource centers in general. There is no dedicated federal funding for family resource centers, unlike Head Start, home visiting, or after school programs. Yet there are more than 3,000 of them across the country, working with more than 2 million people annually. So why are so many public and private funders at a state, county, city, community levels, why are they choosing to invest in family resource centers? And we think that it's because they're just a good idea. And so they're cost effective and they are highly adaptable for various communities. So whether you're in an urban, rural, or ethnic community. And they have demonstrated successful outcomes through multiple external evaluations. So you see here on your screen, these are a little bit some of the functions of family resource centers. So as conveniently located hubs, they bundle and co-locate many services that may be familiar to you, such as home visiting, evidence-based parent education, health screenings, playgroups, fatherhood programs, family counseling, food banks, things like that. So able to offer them at a convenient location. And because family resource centers are of and by and for the communities that they are in, we often say if you've seen one family resource center, you've seen one family resource center. Yet at the same time, we know from research conducted in the 2015-2016 time through the support of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, there is remarkable similarity in most of these common service areas. You'll see here on this slide, the first 2 that you see are the bread and butter of any family resource center. So whether they are urban, rural, school-based, or community-based. And so parenting supports exist on a continuum from lighter touch to more intensive services. So lighter touch parenting supports, we have parent workshops. And then as we increase in the more intensive services, parenting support groups, parent education series, and home visiting. And the access to resources also exists on a continuum from lighter touch to more intensive services. So starting with enhanced information and referral, then moving to concrete supports. Some concrete support examples are directly providing clothing, food, rental assistance, things like that to families. And then working with families over time to address family identified goals, and of course, co-location of resources. And Family resource centers not only provide programs, but they build communities of peer support for families to develop social connections that reduce isolation and stress, which are highly correlated with child abuse. And I'm very excited to introduce to you Kelly from the Upstate Family Resource Center, located in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And she will introduce her colleagues as they will be speaking throughout the presentation as well. And I'll stop sharing so you can start, Kelly. And as she is pulling up her slide, if you think of any questions as they are going through their presentation, feel free to put them right in the chat. We will have an opportunity after their presentation to take some questions. So we'll use that as a parking lot of sorts to collect questions as they are presenting. Thanks, Kelly.
Well, thank you, Julie. It has certainly been an exciting day. For those of you who participated in the national briefing, just getting to understand, I was communicating with one of my coordinators saying, I feel as if I am an orphan that has been reconnected with a family that knows who I am. And so I'm just really excited about uncovering the family networks, the National Family Support Networks. So thank you for the work that you're doing. Well, my name is Kelly, and I welcome you to the Upstate Family Resource Center. We are located in Spartanburg, South Carolina. We are in the northern part of the state. I also want to introduce my assistant, Jessica. She is not participating today, but her fingerprints are all over this presentation, as well as all other programming within the center. And so just wanted to acknowledge her and the work that she does on our behalf. We serve as a link between families, schools, and support services. And again, you can see this is where we are located in our state. And we do serve the northern portion of Spartanburg County. As we've heard a lot about today, we do provide the 5 protective factors within our programming, and the only way we do this is through collaborations with churches, businesses, schools, agencies, and other nonprofits throughout our community and throughout our state as well. This is just a snapshot, a lot of detail here, but to me, this represents the level of complexity that is involved in driving a family resource center. Of course, we're focused on children, adolescents, and adults. Our mission is to help families thrive. And our vision is that we are a leader in strengthening families. And this is just a snapshot. It reminds me of a puzzle of all the different pieces that it takes. The foundation of what we do here in Gray is, of course, our partnerships and the collaboration that it takes to get the work done in our community. Our story begins back in 2007, and some of you may know that there are both school-based family resource centers and community-based family resource centers. And I'll tell you that I feel very blessed to be a hybrid in that in 2007, District 2, Spartanburg County School District 2, our county happens to have 7 school districts, but our school district decided they had this beautiful 1942 building that was going to be empty. They wanted to put it to good use. They knew that families in the community, or the teachers and school and school staff, guidance counselors needed a place to refer families for assistance. Their job is to educate, and they needed a place to help address the issues that might dilute the education that they were providing for their families. And so they wrote a multi-year grant to a community funder. It was funded, and our story began. I can't take any credit for that. I came in after all that work was done, and that was back in 2007. Our first programming initiative was working with partnering with our sister site, the Middle Tiger Community Center. They were our model. And our first program was Adolescent Family Life, working with our adolescent parents throughout our county. At the time, adolescent pregnancy was at its peak. And we knew that this work was important and for the lives of these children, these young children, and their adolescent parents. We are still doing this program today. It has morphed a bit, but it is still an anchor program for us. Soon after, in 2008, we began our adult education classes in partnership with Spartanburg County Adult Ed. We still do GED and English as a second language classes. We started a ministry that helps with that crisis intervention piece, food, financial assistance, clothing, backpacks, things like that. You're going to hear more about that in just a moment from one of the coordinators. In 2010, we began our Family Solutions Program, which was an evidence-based program, 10 families for 10 weeks, just working on how to be a family and how to do it better. In 2017, we launched Pasos Spartanburg. This is a statewide program, and we have a large Latino population in our community. And so we were able to partner with the South Carolina organization to launch Pasos Spartanburg. And you'll learn more about that in just a moment. And of course, 2020, what can we say? We morphed everything that we were doing in a way that helped us continue to serve without missing a beat. And I am so proud of the team that I'm going to be introducing you to, as they have worked diligently to continue to serve families throughout our community. Carolyn Wilson is the coordinator for our Harvest Family Ministries, which is crisis intervention, as well as financial stability programming. And I'm going to let Carolyn tell you a little bit about her work with families in that arena. Carolyn?
Hi, it's an honor to be here talking with you today. We're really excited about the things that we have here for families. Very often, our first meeting is crisis intervention. Particularly in the past 14 months, their situations have changed dramatically. Skyrocketing unemployment just really hurt a lot of people that had never needed assistance. So that is something that we've dealt with. We've been able to work with folks who had needs that were very urgent. We routinely provide the basic needs, the food, clothing, utilities, transportation assistance. But due to the grants we were able to receive this year from the federal government, we've also been able to help housing, both rent and mortgage. That's a new facet that we have started with. But what we try to do is work with the initial need, the emergency, whether it be power being cut off or eviction notice looming. We try to meet that need, and then we do our best to take the next steps to help that family become financially stable. And it takes a lot of partnerships to do that. Primarily, we work with SC Works to help people regain employment, write resumes, cover letters, interview tips, things of that nature. We also work with rehab, which helps people overcome all sorts of barriers. Physical, mental, having a prison record, any kind of barrier, they will work with our clients to help them overcome any barrier that they have. We work with Goodwill, CSEP, which is basically an organization that allows senior citizens to come here and work so that they can earn money to supplement their Social Security. We do also have GED and ESL here, so those are other barriers to better employment, learning the English language, getting a GED to help people get better jobs. In addition, we do seasonal type assistance. We provide school supplies. This last year, we provided almost 600 book bags full of school supplies. We help with Christmas with children. We helped over 300 children this past year get a good Christmas. We help clothing. We have 2 clothing closets: normal everyday clothing, and then we have Best for Success clothing, which is for interviews and jobs. So we do try to help with things such as seasonal things. We just completed our VITA, which is a volunteer income tax service, and we were able to help 370 families get almost $700,000 back. So that's been an exciting thing to finish. We realized that many families this last year experienced obstacles that they had never experienced before. And that no matter how prepared they thought they were for an emergency, nobody expected this emergency to last as long as it has. So there are people that may have had 3 to 6 months in savings, but look how long this has lasted. So many people have come to us that had never ever asked for help from anyone before. We really count it an honor and a privilege to be able to help with that.
Thank you, Carolyn, for sharing the work of our ministry. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Liv Hayes. Liv has been with us since the beginning, and she has worked diligently with our adolescent parents and has really grown this family development programming, and she's going to share a little bit about those programs now.
Hi, I'm Liv, and sorry, that's my dog going crazy. The joys of working from home. So yes, as Kelly mentioned, I work with adolescent parents as the main part of my job. And I've worked with teen moms for about 20 years. The main goals of the program are to meet them where they are. They all have different journeys and different situations. There are themes that crop up, but I want them to feel supported. I want them to feel like they have a safe place to land. I help try to, figure out what resources they can be hooked up with that we have at the center, like concrete supports, like diapers and car seats and all of those kind of fun baby items. It's really fun to give those away, and they're usually very, grateful. When we're not in the pandemic, I go to 4 to 5 schools a week and provide a weekly healthy lifestyle class. And that includes healthy relationships as well as positive parenting. Because, just over the years, we've learned a lot about teen parents are at risk of being in unhealthy romantic relationships, and that can negatively affect them, and it can also negatively affect their children. So we use a curriculum called Love Notes through Dibble Institute, and the response to that program has been wonderful. The students really love it. We're helping them learn healthier ways to navigate in their relationships, and how to build boundaries, how to pace a little bit better, and how to make sure they're making decisions that are for the health and well-being of their child as well. We also do a financial literacy program within the healthy lifestyle classes. And I also do home visiting as needed, usually about once a month. This year during the pandemic, I have shifted over to porch and driveway visits and Zoom and FaceTiming and texting and phone calls, because most of my students have been virtually in school this year. So I haven't been able to go to the schools as much as I normally do. We also piloted a new program this year called AIM for Teen Moms. And what this program is geared towards working with girls who are not in school, but who maybe want to re-enter into some kind of post-secondary education, maybe college, but they're not currently in school. This is a home visiting program as well, which I did virtually. It is 6 individual sessions, and then there are 2 group sessions. The point of this program is to also really help the teenager or the young adult create a positive vision for her future, and then figure out the concrete steps that she can take to get there. Because, it can be really easy to know what you want your life to look like, but sometimes you need somebody helping you figure out, what can I do and how can I achieve these goals to gradually get myself to where I want to be, and to have the life that I want for me and for my child. All of the students that I work with are offered the RAPS, which is a Rapid Adolescent Prevention Screening. This is a wonderful tool that we are able to use virtually, or we can do it personally with them on the computer. It is an assessment tool that is going to let us get a snapshot of their risk for their mental health, their mental well-being, their sexual well-being, and just their overall well-being, to give us kind of a platform to jump off and figure out, okay, what are some things I can focus on individually with this student, and how can I, reduce their risk. Okay, another new thing that we started this year is called the Attachment and Biobehavioral Catch-Up Program, ABC. This is also another evidence-based, it's a nationally recognized program. I just went through the training, and we have another one of PASO's employees who also went through it with me, so we can provide this in Spanish as well as English. This is a 10-session home visiting program, and it is designed to help encourage attachment and healthy parenting and healthy communication for children that are 6 months up to 24 months. And it is a very intense program because we're videotaping every session, and we're giving a lot of feedback to the parents, positive feedback. And so right now I'm in the stage of just getting certified in it. So I have one family that I'm working with for that. And if we end up, once I get certified, I'll be doing that with more of my teen moms as well. Just overall, those are 2 of my students right there, and they're little babies. Overall, I just want to help these babies be ready for kindergarten. I want the mothers to feel very attached to their children, and to feel like their life is not over. They can go on to do great things. They can go on to be a great role model. They don't have to be ashamed. I love to support teen moms. I feel very passionate about it. I am very proud that our rates have gone down in South Carolina. But about 30% of teen pregnancy is repeat pregnancy. So part of what we're doing is to try to reduce the time in which they have that second baby, because they need to focus on that first baby, and outcomes just tend to go down a little bit if they have another baby too soon. So that is primarily, we also offer, let me cover real quick, Kelly. We also offer, someone mentioned it earlier today, the positive parenting program. So we are able to offer that in Spanish and English, and we do that in the discussion forum. We also offer seminars, and then we also offer it in an individual one-on-one primary care basis. So we kind of have all the things covered to promote positive parenting and help families become the best families they can become.
Thank you so much, Liv. And, as you can imagine, working with young adults and adolescents, Liv's phone is blowing up 24/7. She's such a hands-on, I don't want to say facilitator because it's much more warm and fuzzy than that. She is just a mentor for these young women and these young men, and just very passionate about what she does. So thank you, Liv, for your work. Next, I'd like to introduce Nora Curiel Munoz. Nora started with us back in the day in our ESL class, and we are so excited that she has grown and blossomed and come on board as a professional, and is helping launch or has launched this important program for our Latinx community. And so she's going to share with us now about the work that she does.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Well, PASOS is a community-based organization. It was founded in Columbia, South Carolina in 2005. And as Ms. Kelly mentioned before, in 2017, we opened our office in Spartanburg, thanks to the Upstate Family Resource Center and funds from the Maribel Foundation. We use the community health worker model, and we connect the Latino families in Spartanburg County with healthcare providers and other social support services. The next one, Ms. To do this, we have many partners. I can mention the Spartanburg Regional Health System, Clemson University, the Department of Health, food banks, churches. We also provide, as Liv mentioned before, parenting classes. We have some workshops for parents and teenagers, and we involve the community also in events every year. Well, since the pandemic, we were not able to do that for the last year, but we did a big event, just showing some of the Latino culture, the food, dancing, and that way people can know more about our culture and traditions. And well, I will mention later our programs. The next one, Ms. Kelly. Well, we have a big connection with the Department of Health. We have a grant from the HEC to connect families with WIC. So we serve pregnant women and children 0 to 5 to provide education about the benefits of having WIC, and we help them to have that connection, making their appointments. Also, well, I was mentioned before that we give good workshop for the parents and children, and this is to prevent teen pregnancy, and also other topics like the use or abuse of alcohol and drugs, teen pregnancy, STDs, and the stress of acculturation of the parents when they come to as immigrants to this country. And also we have the early childhood development program. We assess children 0 to 5 years old for developmental delays, and we refer them to services when it is needed. Well, I think that's it. The last year was a hard year because of the pandemic, but we did a lot of work. We received some grants, and we were able to serve statewide with financial assistance to the Latino families. We collected donations from BMW, gave us 5,000 masks that we distributed in the community. The hospital gave us hand sanitizer, and we were giving a lot of education about prevention. And right now we are working with the Department of Health and some churches to facilitate vaccination clinics. So far we have done more than 400 vaccinations thanks to this. And well, I think that's all what I have to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. I wanted to go back when I was speaking about our history. I wanted to share again about our model. We were started by a school district, and they have been very supportive. They've provided our space. They have been very supportive in our infrastructure. But of course, as has been mentioned several times today, we are responsible for raising our money, for paying our staff. Those funds do not come from the school district. They act as our fiscal agent. They had IT support. I mean, I could go on and on about their support, and we would not be where we are 14 years later without that. But we want to make sure that our community knows that we are not funded through the school district, that we are our own 501c3. And so we're kind of that hybrid model between, a school-based and a community-based. And there's lots of benefits to that. Partnership, of course, is key in being fiscally efficient, and stretching those dollars that we all have to stretch in this arena. Fundraisers, we have a lot of fundraisers we always try to tie it back to families. We did several years ago, we started with a color run. Of course, last year we didn't get to do that. We did a virtual run. We do auctions. We have giving platforms across our social media. And so we do depend on the community a great deal to help us get this work done and support this work. I think Julie is going to be putting a link to our website. I would love for you to go there and see our most recent video, some great testimonials from leadership in our community, from a successful adolescent mom, from our faith community, about how much we mean to the community. And I'll have to say as well, when we started this journey in 2007, and we landed on the Upstate Family Resource Center. I had no idea that was even a thing. I just knew we had resources, and we needed to connect the families to those resources. And that name was just intuitive. And so it's really been a blessing to be able to provide those resources from the beginning. And now again, to find out we have a family. And so thank you, Julie, for the opportunity to share about our work in Spartanburg County.
Thank you so much for sharing. Every time you say that, Kelly, about that you didn't realize family resource centers were a thing, I just think that's so incredible. But yet, from what we shared about what family resource centers are to the services you're providing, it's just incredible. So thank you all. I see one question in the chat, and please feel free to enter questions into the chat, and I'll be using that to ask the Upstate team their questions. So the first one is, how many total staff members are at your Family Resource Center?
Not enough. As far as administration, it's myself and Jessica, who McKinney. She is finance program director, facilities manager, and marketing director. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Jack of all trades. So that's administration. And then I have Nora and Liv, who are full time. All of our ministry and financial stability staff, which is 2, are part-time, but we do utilize AmeriCorps opportunities. We have 2 AmeriCorps members that are maybe 20 hours a week for 9 months. We, as Carolyn mentioned, we use CSEP. So we have 4 full-time, 2 part-time, you know, and we all do more than our time, let me tell you. And volunteers are key to what we do.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Any other questions? You all were very thorough in your presentation, so. Give it a couple moments here. Feel free to enter your questions in. And while you are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I'll screen share the, sorry, sec. Yeah, take one moment to enter your questions in the chat. We would love to hear your questions. And we have at the end of this presentation, we have an evaluation we're going to ask you to complete that will help us guide future presentations and content in the future. So while you're putting your questions in the chat, I'll go ahead and we'll chat out Michael asked you to chat out the link to the evaluation so everybody can take a chance to take the opportunity to click on that link. And that is a SurveyMonkey link that I see is in the chat now. So take a moment to click on that, and we greatly appreciate your feedback as it does help frame future webinars, future briefing content, and hopefully more FRC tours too. So it's so exciting. All right, well, hopefully no one will be mad at giving you back just a little bit of your day today. Thank you all so much for being here, and let's give Upstate a warm round of applause for their wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for sharing about your work that you do and how you're helping families in your communities. It's incredible. So thank you again, and thank you everybody for participating. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Julie. I enjoyed today very much.
Thank you.